My love for numbers was what got me into engineering. From engineering, that got me into the markets, because engineering and markets, it's all numbers, it's all charts, it's all graphs, and that's where I took it. So again, I have a kind of an affinity for the tech sector and infinity for the health sector as well. So a lot of the stuff I enjoy is related to those sectors. But for those of you watching, welcome, welcome. And for those of you just joining for the first time, welcome. It's going to be fun. We promise not to bore you. Learning can be fun. So, and if you have any questions, always be free to send me a message right there. No problem. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay. So, some of the stories that we have for today. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So, some of the stories that we're going to talk about for today, we're going to talk about how Musk got, for example, the jury says he is guilty of misleading the Twitter investors ahead of the $44 billion Twitter acquisition. Okay. And the jury says that the damages could reach $2.6 billion. And they said, the jury said that Musk's tweets and comments sent shares of Twitter sliding almost 10% in a single session. The jury only deliberated for about 4 days, and then they unanimously found his tweets and his tweets false or misleading. Okay, so there's that. So also we've got to talk about gold. The gold is just going up and down like crazy, reacting to the markets with what's going on with oil, because oil just dropped nearly 10%. It had its worst weekly performance since 2011. We're talking about some gold and silver, also looking into some mining stocks as well. Also, data centers. We have got news on data centers as well. SoftBank Sun says Ohio data center is going to be a $500 billion project, and it's going to be a 10 gigawatt performance. Would be one of the largest, if not the largest in the world. Also, we're talking about Palantir. We're going to talk about how the Pentagon is going to adopt Palantir as the core U.S. military system. Palantir's Maven AI system will become an official program. Okay. Also, United. We're going to be talking about United because United has to cut 5% more flights as it sees oil going above $100 all throughout 2027. Also, FedEx. Well, FedEx started delivering AI training to over 400,000 of its workers. We're going to talk a little bit about them, as well as Berkshire Hathaway. This is an interesting one. Why? Because Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's, it purchased 8 million shares of Chevron in Q4 of 2025, and now that bet is looking very prescient, very intelligent. And the total shares now that they have for Chevron are over 130 million, making Chevron 7%, over 7% of Berkshire's entire portfolio. So Chevron is now one of Berkshire's top 5 holdings, and it also holds a large stake in Occidental as well. And on top of that, they just put in 1.5 billion into Tokyo's Marine. Okay, we'll talk about them as well. Also, again, this is not a script. This is my notes. I've spent copious amounts of time trying to bring the best to you. And for example, another topic we have is SolarEdge. What is SolarEdge? Well, they are a global leader in smart energy technology, especially in solar. They do residential, commercial, and utility scale solar installations. We'll be talking about them because their stock just surged 13% on Friday. And also, what about Planet Labs? Well, Planet Labs soared Friday over 25% after the company's Q4 2026 earnings report, driven by better than expected revenue. Yeah, those stories and more coming up in this stream. So let's get right into it. Again, welcome, welcome. My name is James. Hope you're enjoying this. If you have a ticker, if you have a company that you want us to look at, feel free to drop it in the comments. Yes. And as always, if you have a question or something, you can always feel free to just send me a message and ask it right there. Yes. If you have a question about an indicator, question about a company, feel free to send me a message. Now, let's get right into it more. We're talking about Musk and how he, right here, where's my Musk? Yeah, here we go. So here's the headline. Elon Musk misled Twitter investors ahead of a $44 billion acquisition, according to the jury. And again, like it said, The total damages could exceed 2.6 billion. So let's do this. Let's jump right in. Let's take a look at Tesla. How is Tesla doing after this news? Okay, right here. Bum, bum, bum. Here we go. Let's take a look here at Tesla. Tesla. Okay, so here is Tesla. And again, if you're watching from home, this is on Trading View. And right now, Tesla, if you see the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, let me give you just a brush up on that. The RSI, Relative Strength Index, basically, just to make it super simple, you have the overbought lines, you have the oversold lines, and then you have the middle part. The middle part is just a consolidation part where it doesn't do much. I'll explain that. But this overbought is when it gets so high that pretty soon the market's going to correct and it's going to come down. And the oversold, it gets so low, pretty soon the market's going to correct and it's going to go back up. That is a very simplified definition of that. But again, if you want more information on that, I'll be glad to do it. Also, when I talk about the neutral zone is this part right here. This is what we call the neutral zone right there. See that? That's the neutral zone, in between about 55, 45, thereabouts, okay? And again, I just want to point out, even though it's overbought or oversold, it's just a guide. These things can go way overbought or way oversold before they ever correct. Look at this. I want to show you this right here. You can see right here, way overbought right here before actual market correction comes down. So again, that's why I say these are just a guide, a tool to use, and don't take them for face value because they can go way overbought or way oversold for a long time before ever correcting, okay? So there's that. Now let's go back over here. And what is Tesla doing right now? Well, right now, if you look at Tesla, it's sitting right here at 39. At 39, very, very neutral, just outside the neutral zone. And you can see that right here in their, right here. There's even their price chart is very, very neutral right there, okay? So bear that in mind. Here we go. And then, okay, there's a relative strength index. Also, I'll just touch very briefly on the MACD. What is the MACD? MACD is moving average convergence divergence, okay? So what is that? Well, basically, to put it in very, very simple terms, let me adjust this so you can see it better. To put it in very, very simple terms, you have the blue line, which is the MACD right there. When it crosses the red signal line going down, that means the price chart's going to go down. This is basically based on a histogram on history. So for example, then right here, the blue line is the MACD crossing going up. So the price chart goes up right there. You can see that, right? So again, that's a super simplistic version. If you want more information on how the MACD really works, like with more intricacies, just send me a message and I can give you more information on that. Because again, right now we're just going through some basics, but you can get more technical if you want. So here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Now let's go up here to the price chart and let's get out some patterns here, okay? Let's see. And again, we're looking at Tesla. Look right here. This looks like it could be basically right here. You have a double bottom and triple bottom. You see right here. They all go down to the same point right there. 1, 2, 3. It's a triple bottom, and bang, it goes up. And when you have a triple bottom, you'll see the chart go up just like that. Okay. So there's that. Dun, dun, dun. Boom, boom, boom. Right here. Bang. Now let's go back over here. Right here. Okay, let's do some more right here. Well, this is Tesla again. Sometimes my timer, you can also put your time on 1 minute, whatever works out the best. Sometimes you change the time and you'll see different price charts, okay? So let's go on. That's Tesla. Now let's look here right now. One thing I want you to notice that there's not much price action. So guess what? There's not much trading going on, right? So if we look here, right here on Trading View, you see right there, the trading is only 19.5 million. Market cap is at 1.4 trillion, okay? So let's go here to the earnings. See right here. You have quarterly and you have annually. Quarterly, as you can see, right here. The blue part is what was actually recorded for earnings. The gray part is what was predicted by Wall Street or expected by Wall Street. Now, if you go right over here to Q3, as you can see, was less than forecasted. And Q2 was just equaled it. So my point is Q3 did not get what the market said it should. Smearcat, hello, hello. I like the name. Welcome to the channel. Everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines. Let's see, Mr. N, hello as well. And let's see, we're looking at Tesla on TradingView right now, and we're breaking down all the news headlines at the same time. So here's annually 2025 right here for Tesla. It equaled expectations, as you can see. And then 2024, it missed expectations. 2023, it beat expectations. So to summarize, the last 3 years, it either equaled or actually it equaled and beat the expectations, except for 2024, it missed them. Okay, and for example, welcome user 262. Let's go here to the statements. You'll see how the profits, revenues, and incomes line up for this. Dun dun dun. Now, looking at this, you'll see that for 2025, it was a bad year for the earnings, a bad year for income and profit. But looking back at 2023 and 2024, it was pretty bad as well, except for the total revenue in 2023 and 2024 was good. It was positive, except, and also the net income in 2023 was good. But it depends. Again, that's why I say look at all the different details and analyze the different parts of it. Because if you're looking at earnings, it can give you one piece of information. Looking at the profits and revenues, it'll give you another piece of information. Now, that's just a brief little bit on Tesla, because Elon is always in the news, and that's his newest thing. He is basically found guilty of misleading investors ahead of Twitter, the Twitter acquisition. Now, let's go here to another popular topic that is always making the news recently. We have this one right here, for example. Gold, yes. Gold just dropped nearly 10%, worst weekly rout since 2011, just to skim over that. And it's on pace for its worst month since 2008, and it's still up year to date, okay? So investors are worried about implications of the war, but it's still up more than 5% in 2026. Now, silver also recorded its third straight losing week, down more than 14%, and silver spot prices dropped 3% on Friday. And volatility in the oil market has been influencing global investor sentiment since the start of the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. Oil prices topped $112 a barrel on Friday. Gold and silver had great record-setting rallies in 225. Remember that, but they surged 66 and 135% respectively. But it's very volatile in 2026. Remember, they just recently had the biggest drop ever in January, right? So, having said that, for example, even now, what was it? Yeah, but that's gold. If there's any gold bugs on here, any silver bugs on here, that's for you. Again, we'll talk about some silver mining companies, some gold mining companies coming up. Also, silver spot prices experienced volatility. They dropped around 3 or 4% on Friday. Again, we'll get into some of the miners on that. But yeah, and if you have any thoughts about gold or silver, feel free to drop them in the comments. Here we go. All right. For example, here's one of the ones we can talk about. Welcome. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, let's go Pan American Silver, PAS. Here is Pan American Silver, PAS, right here. Okay, we're looking at Pan American Silver right now because gold and silver are both in the news big time. So here we are, right down here at 34. Okay, again, you can see it dropping because, well, the price of metal is dropping. So is the stock, right? So here's that. Okay, so if you notice right here, I want to circle this so you can see this. Ever since this is about ever since March 2nd, it's been dropping like a rock. Look at that. So see that big drop? and that's why you also see the drop down here in the relative strength index. Okay. Um, Now, also, I want to again show you that the RSI can go way overbought right here, way overbought before ever market. Hey, Jim Sum, how are you? Welcome back. uh, IU live streams. Yeah, welcome back. Hello, hello. Greetings. And again, so that's your relative strength index and how it can go way overbought until it finally market corrects and comes down. And then, as you see, right now, Pan American Corporation is dropping the same as the metals. And let me give you some price chart patterns right here as we go. If you're wondering about Pan American Silver, Pan American Silver engages in the operation, development, and exploration of silver and gold producing properties and assets. Includes Colorado, Huanan, let's see. Yes. Anyway, so this is mainly gold and silver, and you can see that, boom, it was doing very, very well, and then along comes the volatility of the war, and then bang. This is remember back in January when everything just dropped. You can see that right there. That's January, and then right here, this is end of February. Boom. So there's one drop in January, comes up again, and there's one drop in February right there. Tix, welcome, welcome. Tix Murat. We're talking everything U.S. markets. Okay. IU live streams. Let's see. Okay. Give me a publicly traded U.S. company. That's what I do on this channel. Is I break down the companies and we talk about that information. If there is a company, an AI company you want me to look at, just feel free to let me know. I appreciate the question, but that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So no worries. If you have one, just drop it in the comments. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So that's Pan American right there. And another one we can look at is, for example, what was another one? We can look at, here's, oh wait, hold on, let me finish this. So if we go right here to expand this out, right here, and you can see right now there's a lot of action going on. So there's more trade volume right here. Volume right now is at 3.28 million, and market cap is at 20.7 billion. If we go here to Sean Murphy, hello, hello, welcome to the channel. We're talking everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines right now. Kasim, hello, greetings and welcome. Jill Wax, hello. Okay, right here on Pan American Silver quarterly, right here you can see Q4, Q4, Q3, Q2. Yeah, so Q2 and Q4 beat expectations, but Q3 missed it. More importantly, when we go to annually, annually right here at 2025, 2024, and 2023. For the year, last 3 years all missed market expectations for earnings except for 2025. 2025 beat the expectations. The 2 years prior missed it. Now let's look at the profits and incomes on this. Interesting, even though the earnings wasn't what the market expected or what they had projected, they have good revenue, profit, and income. If you look right here, you'll see 2025, it's all green all the way down. Same thing with 2024, 2023, all green all the way down for profits, income, and revenue. So that's good. Again, that's why I say just because you have good or bad revenue doesn't mean you have good or bad profits or income. So look at all the details. Welcome everyone. Let's see, talking everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines, and we're breaking it down on TradingView. If you have a U.S. Publicly traded company or a ticker that you want me to look at, just drop it in the comments and we can do that. Let's see right here. So it was Pan American Silver. Let's do one more. Let's do hey, greetings, simulation. Welcome. We're looking at some of the miners right now because the metals right now are very interesting to look at. So let's do that. Here's another one. Hecla right here. Boom. Okay. Here is Hecla mining. A little bit about Hecla mining right here. If you're not familiar with Hecla mining, Hecla Mining engages in the provision of precious and base metals. It operates through, let's see, yeah, precious and base metals. So right here, if we go back here to the chart, let's change these numbers a little bit right here. And let's see, simulation. Let me know if you have a ticker you want me to look up. Happy to do it. And then right here, there's this. Let me bring this down, adjust the timing a little bit. Okay, so again, looking at Hecla, right here, if you look, the RSI, relative strength index, is right here at 37, 35, right there, as you can see it. And it was going, and it just now finally market corrected, and it's coming back up, as you can see. And you can see that reflected here in the price chart as well. But one thing I want to show you right here is look at this price chart here. You can kind of see the there's an invisible ceiling right there, kind of an invisible floor as well. Again, there's your consolidation, your continuation. Got one eye. I love the name. I love the name. Welcome, welcome. And let's see. Right here, you see the same thing down here in the RSI right there. Kind of, you see that. Hey, right on, simulation. Keep listening, keep learning, and enjoy it. Hope it's a little bit fun at the same time. There we go. Okay, so there's a chart pattern for you. And again, that's the invisible ceiling, the invisible floor, resistance, consolidation, whatever you want to call it. Let's see. Gurm Singh How. I can't say the name very well. Gurm Singh Ho. Welcome, welcome, and greetings. And there's your, okay, there's that one pattern for you. Again, you see how the RSI and the chart pattern kind of line up and correlate. Now let's do another one right here. Here's one I want to show you. For example, again, I'm on the 1 day. If you change the time, you'll notice it's different. Here's a head and shoulders right here, left, right, and there's the neckline. Again, sometimes chart patterns exist, but they don't really break out. You see this head and shoulders, it's supposed to break out and go down, but it doesn't really. So again, it's not always about, the patterns don't always, change the chart trend like they're supposed to. Sometimes the pattern just shows up and then does nothing. But there's that. Let's again look at this. I want to show you how the RSI right here goes way overbought, super high, up to about 90. See, that one goes to 90 before it ever market corrects and comes down. Yes. Sean Murphy, hello, hello. Lucas, greeting and welcome. Thank you for the likes. I'm not an algorithm expert, but yes, I've heard that likes and follows and shares help the algorithm. So I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much. Let's see right here. Dun, dun, dun. Again, right here, it can go way overbought before market corrects and comes down. That's why the indicators are just guides. But yeah, it's something to be aware of. Now let's go up here to some more chart patterns. Again, change the time, change the settings, and you'll see different patterns emerge. Sometimes, not always. Dun, dun, dun. And some patterns are easier to see than others. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. This one right here, for example, they both, when they both come up to about the same place, and then right here you'll see this is basically your double top right there, and bang, it comes down. And where they meet right there in the middle, that's your neckline. So a double top also has a neckline, and it's where they meet in the middle. There's your neckline. Let's see, Midway, hello, hello, greetings and welcome. Dun, dun, dun. We're talking everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines. We're going over some U.S. tickers as well. Dun, dun, dun. Feel free to listen and enjoy, or if you have a question, send me a message and let me know. Let's see. Also, again, looking for chart patterns. Again, there's lots of double tops. This one has another double top. Sometimes there's more double tops. Sometimes there's more head and shoulders. It all just depends. And again, so there's your double top, and then sometimes it's get reversed by the double bottom, just like you see right here. They balance each other out a lot of times. It'll go down from a double top, and then it'll swing back up with a double bottom. Yeah. Let's see. Greetings, welcome, welcome. For everyone who's jumping in, and if you're wondering where you're at, this is the channel where we talk about everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines. We make it fun, we make it interesting, so you don't get too bored. And okay, done. This is an educational channel, so you can relax and breathe a sigh of relief. Now, one thing I want you to notice here on Hecla, uh, again, you see, note the times when there is more trade volume, okay, more trade volume. And then you also have more trade volume is also reflected in the price action as well. So there's that. Right now, the volume's at 5.95 million. Market cap is at 12.1 billion. And then, done. Let's go to the earnings side of it right here. Quarterly right here. Q4, Q3, Q2. You can see that the blue bars are all higher than the gray bars. The blue bars is what the earnings that were actually reported, and the gray bars were the earnings that were expected or projected by Wall Street. So when the company beats the earnings expectation, that looks good for your company, and sometimes that can make the company look stronger. It can change the investments. It can change the stock price, etc. But there's many other things that go into that as well. Graham, hello, welcome. Greetings to everyone who's jumping in. That's why there's the earnings, but let's also take a look right here. Annual earnings for Hecla Mining 2025. Annually is often more important. 2025 beat the earnings expectations. Sanu 614, hello. Sean Murphy, Lucas, hello. Thank you for the likes, very much. 2024 also for the year 2024 beat it. 2023 equaled it. So to summarize, Hecla Mining the last 3 years either beat the annual expectations or equaled it. Very good. And then right here we go to the statements. How do the profits, how do the earnings, the income, how does that shape up against the earnings? So as you can see, the last 2 years, 2024 and 2025, all green all the way down with revenue, profit, and income. However, let's see. So look, okay, that's 2024 and 2025. Now look right here. 2024 for the year beat expectations, and so did 2025. It also beat expectations, right? Now, if we go here to statements, 2024, 2025 beat the expectations. Albania, greetings and welcome. Let's see. And now if we go here, how did 2023? 2023 equaled expectations for earnings. Omar, Patty, greetings and welcome. And right here, because it equaled it. Now look at 2023. 2023, there's a lot of red, negative gross profit, a negative pre-tax income, negative net income. The only thing that was good during 2023 was operating income and total revenue. So again, keep all the information in mind when you're looking for different things, okay? If you would like more information on this or how to analyze it, use it, or if you would like more information on the indicators or the earnings, just feel free to send me a message and we can go into it more specifically, okay? Very good. That's Hecla Mining, and we're looking at that because right now gold and silver are going very they're fluctuating a lot, very volatile in the market right now for obvious reasons. User 720, greetings and welcome. All right, now let's go on. I wanted to show you this one because this one's also interesting. So SoftBank's Sun says Ohio data center to be a $500 billion project. What's this all about? Well, again, the Princess, greetings and welcome. Everything U.S. markets. In Ohio, they're planning to make this 10 gigawatt data center. It would be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in the world. And to give you an idea, just one gigawatt can power 750,000 homes at the same time. So it would be powered, and this thing is going to be 10 gigawatts, and it's going to be powered by 33 billion worth of natural gas fired electricity. 33 billion, okay? So the first phase starts with 800 megawatts, and that'll cost about 30 to 40 billion, and it's expected to be completed in early 2028. But again, the bigger vision is about 10 gigawatts, and this is in Ohio, okay? Let's see. Greetings. For those of you joining, we're talking about some right at the moment, we're talking about some data centers. There's a new one being announced in Ohio. Um, Creed Townsend, hello, hello. Everything U.S. markets. If you have a question about a ticker or a U.S. publicly traded company, feel free to let me know. And also, right here, just a little more information about the data centers. There's always a lot of pushback with these things because there's questions about energy use, questions about water use, and stuff like that. A little bit, maybe a positive sentiment, if there could be one. It talks here about how trade workers could benefit from this. Will there really be a lot of jobs coming from these things? Well, again, according to this article, technology is also creating opportunities for skilled tradespeople in data centers. Specialized and technical professionals moving into data center roles often see a 25 to 30% pay increase. Again, this is according to Kelly Services. It's a staffing service. And it says right here, we're talking about Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, blah, blah, all their data centers. For example, there's a new AI center, there's a new data center in Louisiana, which will create 540 full-time jobs on site, as well as 1,700 roles for electricians, technicians, and security specialists, okay? And on top of that, Isato, welcome. Azig, greetings, greetings. On top of that, Meta also invested 27 billion last year, and there's going to be 1,700 roles for electricians, technicians, security specialists. And even though there's a lot of anxiety around how AI is going to replace jobs, for example, it says here that between 2022 and 2026, demand for robotic technicians increased by 107%, according to a global analysis of 50 million job postings, and especially for cooling, for HVAC. Debbie, hello, hello, greetings, welcome. Ronan, hello, hello. For HVAC system engineers, the growth rate was 67%, and the industrial automation technicians grew by 51%. Divi, greetings and welcome. And meanwhile, job listings for traditional skilled trades jobs like workers and technicians increased by 27%. Okay, and it says about roughly 12,000 data centers exist globally today, and thousands more will be built to house high performance AI computing centers. And for every right here, it says there's a skills shortage driving wage premium. So I mean, apparently they don't have enough talent for what they need. I mean, not Jake, Finley, Greg, welcome, welcome. We're talking everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines. If you have a question, let me know. So, for example, wages for HVAC engineers have increased roughly by 10% to 15% in the past 4 years. AI's infrastructure demands outpace the shrinking labor supply. Wage growth is rising significantly for these specialized roles. And data roles often see a 25 to 30% pay increase. Okay, so there's that. So just something to keep in mind. Jim Som, hello, hello. In case you have a data center opening near you. Arcadio, greetings. Maybe there's something beneficial from data centers that that you could benefit from. Also, right here, let's talk about this. Pentagon, okay, talking about Palantir. So the Pentagon chose to adopt Palantir as a core U.S. military system. Palantir's Maven AI system will become an official program of the record. Maven is a command and control software platform that analyzes battlefield and identifies targets. It can analyze huge amounts of data from satellites, drones, and radars. So that's a little bit about Palantir and their Maven system and how they're now going to become officially part of the U.S. military system. So MOA, Megs, Mickey, Fatman, Melissa, greetings, welcome. Everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines. Let's go over here to break down Palantir. Let's see. We look at the headlines, we look at the companies, and then we break them down on TradingView. If you're watching from home, this is on TradingView, Palantir. And if you have a question about a ticker or a company, just drop it in the comments. And here we go. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, here's the chart for Palantir. Again, I'm sure, let's see, it's a pretty famous company, but Gary, welcome. Right now, Palantir engages in the business of building and deploying software platforms that serve as the central operating system for its customers. Operates through commercial and government segments. Um, the commercial segment focuses on right there. So taking a look right here, let's see, here we are, 58 right now is the RSI, which is still pretty neutral. And as you can see, for example, the RSI oftentimes reflects what's happening here in the price chart. Here's the price chart. There's your consolidation, invisible ceiling, invisible floor, resistance, support, etc. And the same thing you have right here in the RSI, right there. So again, these two often correlate with each other. Yes. Dreamland, hello, hello, greetings, welcome, and welcome to the channel. Linda, good to have you. Now, right here, you can see also in the MACD is also running parallel right there as well. So again, if you have questions about those, just feel free to let me know. And let's go on right here. Yeah. Here we go. Now, let's look at first some chart patterns here. One of the chart patterns I see jumping out right now quickly, for example, is this big, broad head and shoulders. Here's your head, here's your left shoulder, here's your right shoulder, and there's your neckline right there. Smoking Blunts, I love the name. Andy Golden, hello, hello. Issa too. Mona, greetings. Welcome to the channel where we talk everything U.S. markets headlines, and we make it fun, and we try to. Nabsu, greetings. And the head and shoulders chart right there, this is the one where if the pattern does follow what it's supposed to, it does break out and go down. This one, as you can see, it does indeed break out and go down right there. Yes. Now let's go right over here, and let's find some more patterns. Again, you can adjust the time. Mine's on 1 day. If you change your time, you can have different patterns that show up, and then you can kind of compare them as they go. Yes. Juan, welcome, greetings. Aaron, and for example, let me see if I can find you some more fun chart patterns. Yes. This one you can see, some of these don't actually break out, but let's see. Oh, here's one. You have a head and shoulders, but also you have the same thing in reverse. You can also have, here's your reverse head, left shoulder, right shoulder right there, and then here's your neckline. See the reverse head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Let's see. Yes, Toto, welcome. Tiki, greetings, welcome, welcome everyone. And let's see. Here's your reverse head and shoulder. Reverse head and shoulders, instead of breaking out down, reverse will break out and go up. As you can see right here, it breaks out and it does go up. Bang, right there. Greetings, cool Winder. I like the name. NC, hello. Michelle, greetings and welcome. Everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines. Okay, that's a little bit about Palantir right there. Let's see right here. Oh, one of the ones I'll point out right here is that, again, you have double bottoms. You also have triple bottoms. So basically, a triple bottom and a double bottom is the same thing. They do the same thing, have the same purpose. Greetings, Ake, Juan, Roy. As you can see right here, there's a triple bottom and the chart goes up. That's exactly what it's supposed to do right there. A triple bottom or a double bottom is supposed to make the chart pattern go up, which it does right there indeed. Okay. And now, just to point out right here, this is the trade volume right here. That's the trade volume. You have less trade volume when there's less price action. You see there's less price action right here. So you have less trade volume right there, and vice versa. Daniel, greetings and welcome. Hello. So here, volume is at 18.49 right there. You can see it on TradingView. Market cap is at 380 billion. And then we go to earnings. Let's see, break this down. Sandri, hello. And again, you have the quarterly, you have the annually. Which is more important? It just depends on what you're doing. Oftentimes, it's more oftentimes the annual is more important to someone's strategy, but it always just depends. Pratap, hello. Sandri, greetings. Right now, the blue part again is what the company actually received. The gray part is what the Wall Street projected for its earnings. Now, when they beat the earnings expectations, that looks good for the company, makes them look stronger, makes them look healthier. But that doesn't always tell the whole story. Fatu, Sylvia, greetings, welcome. Everything U.S. markets and headlines is what we're talking about here. This this is an educational channel. It's not a sales channel, so you can relax. I know, right? Whew. But here, Q4, Q3, and Q2 all beat the expectations for the market annually. Right here, 2025, 2024, 2023. Just summarized for Palantir for the year. Last 3 years all beat expectations except for 2023, and it equaled expectations. So that's still good. Now, again, that's the earnings, but that's not the whole story. Let's go here and Kumba Edison, greetings and welcome. Look right here at Palantir's revenue, profits, and earnings, which look pretty good. So in this case, again, it's not always like this, but in this case, not only was the earnings here, you can see the earnings right here. The earnings report compared to what their expectations were good. Now the statements also right here. When you look at the profit, revenue, and income, it's all green all the way down, which is, yeah. So Palantir is looking good in that area. Some people enjoy LC greetings and hello. Some people enjoy looking at the forecast. I don't. It's just mainly for entertainment. I don't put a whole lot of stock into this, but if you want to for grins, go ahead. But anyway, Malaya RSF, hello, hello. Real love, I love the name. There's that. So that's Palantir. Another one that we're going to look at is United. Why United? Because due to what's going on around the world right now, United Airlines is going to have to cut 5% more of its flights. So they're going to have 5% less flights this year because they're predicting a rise as high as $175 a barrel. And the CEO also thinks that the annual fuel bill could rise by 11 billion. Okay, let's see. Ben, Sora, Terry, hello, Green, Little Mac. I love the name. Yes, greetings and welcome. So this is okay. Talking about United. Yeah. So basically, oil is affecting them, and they're cutting back on a lot of flights. So let's take a look at United. And let's see how it's affecting them here. Here we go. Airlines Holdings. Here we go. If you have a ticker that you want me to look at, feel free to drop it in. Kokonik, I love that name too. Joseph, hello. And yes. And Bever, yes. Little Mac. All right, here we go. This is United Airlines. Let's see, and wait, hold on, let me change that. Yeah, and one thing I want to point out, for example, ever since the past month, when oil has been taking off, their stock has been going down. If you see the correlation there, and also you see how the pattern goes down right there. It correlates exactly with the RSI right here. So the RSI goes all the way down to 30 here before it finally corrects and goes back up right there. Again, take a note of that. And for example, right here, when you see not a whole lot, when it's stable right here, again, you see it stable right here. And because there's not much price action right here, because it's stable, it's in the consolidation area, you have very little trade volume right there, okay? Greetings to everyone who's just jumping in. Hello, hello. Let's see, Miss Graves forever. Welcome, welcome. And let's go get some chart patterns here. Dun, dun, dun. If you change the time, if you change the, yes, different things will appear. For example, here we go. Again, this one just jumps out when I change the time on this chart. Here we go. Here's your reverse head right there. If you can see that reverse head. Let me change this a little bit, bring this down. And so there's your, and then here's your left side shoulder. Here's your right side shoulder. Here's your neckline right there. and then right here, that's your reverse head and shoulders, and you can kind of see the chart pattern does indeed break out from this part, right? Fernando, hello, greetings and welcome. Bobster, cool name. User 99, greetings and welcome. Dun, dun, dun. So again, there's your reverse head and shoulders, and again, this is not a shampoo commercial. I don't make the names. That's just how it goes. The relief sign, greetings and welcome. Let's go find some more chart patterns here. Again, here's here's another reverse. Here's your reverse head. Here's your left shoulder, and here's your right shoulder. One thing I want you to, again, these shoulder patterns, they can be diagonal, like they don't need to be straight shoulders. They oftentimes are not. You sometimes have to use your creativity, and you can see right here, dun dun dun, bang, it jumps out right there. Okay, and dun, 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 right here, yes, okay. And then as we go over here, again, um, sometimes these patterns are very, very small, but here again, you reverse your left shoulder and your right shoulder, and you see right there, another reverse head and shoulders, and it goes up. Bemazilla, hello, greetings. Rebecca, good stuff. And then right here, bum, bum, bum. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, that's united. Again, some patterns have more double tops and double bottoms. Some patterns have more head and shoulders and reverse head and shoulders. It all just depends. But greetings, Lou. And let's go back here. Let me take you through some of the earnings and the profits. Again, oh, here's one that's interesting. If you zoom out and zoom in, you can kind of see that looks like a here's a double top right there. They both go up to the same point, and then bang, it comes down. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. Hello, Hannah. Good to have you. Dustin, Fuggy, Jemsam. Hello, greetings. And so, yeah, now let's go to the earnings right here. Volume is at 4.10 million. Market cap is at 30.7 billion. And then as we go over here to the earnings side, let's see. Here we go. Tiffany, hello. Quarterly for United, as you can see, 1, 2, 3. For the last three quarters, the earnings either again all 3 quarters beat the expectations, 1, 2, 3, and annually, let's see, very much the same thing. They beat the quarterly earnings were good, and so were the annual earnings. For example, they beat the Wall Street expectations. Harley Scott, Shad, welcome, greetings. Barefoot, I love that name. Greetings and welcome. Here we go. Now, how do the earnings compare with the profits, income, and revenue? Well, as you can see right here, actually it was pretty good. Overall, overall the last 3 years, the revenue, the profit, income was all in the green, as you can see right here. So the only thing that was not good was 2025. They had negative operating income. Otherwise, all their revenue, profit, income was good for the last 3 years. So in this case, it did work out. All of my holdings are precious metals. What a genius. Hey, Art Vandelay, good to have you back. It's very volatile right now. Actually, I just saw a headline very recently, very recently, that something about because Mr. T called off the strikes. That actually sent gold down, or not gold down. It actually sent oil down just a little bit, and then as that happened, I think I saw the headline where gold actually came back up to erase some of its losses. Did I read that wrong, or is that true? Do you follow that? Because Art Vandelay, yeah, I saw the article where here it talked about gold dropped nearly 10% in the worst weekly rout. I saw that, but didn't hasn't that already partly changed even more recently with the changes with the what's going on in Iran, or no? Let me know. Mamasa, greetings and welcome. Marina, hello, hello. Let's see, Random, good to have you guys. Um, all right, done, done, done. There's United. Let's take a look at. Yeah, also in the news is FedEx. FedEx is they've started a promotional program where they're going to train over 400,000 workers in AI literacy. This ought to be interesting. The company continues to introduce new AI capabilities from every end of the organization, like advanced digital tracking and capabilities for shippers. And they're going to update. They're going to basically expand 400,000 workers' understanding of how to use all this. Verified. This is not a political channel, but let's just say that yeah, I'm I'm really not sure what to. Uh, anyway, I'm gonna stay away from that one. But good question. I know what you're saying, but yeah, I got you. Uh, let's see who did you? Oh, yeah, I saw the question. I saw the question. Um, since this is not a political channel, it's just an educational channel. I'm going to try to stay away from that question. But thanks for asking. Um, let's see, Jen Fatu, hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Just trying to be as honest as possible with you, sir. And right here, let's see. Art Vandalay. Okay, no. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can. Where was that? Where is it? Dun, dun, dun. I thought I saw that. Where is it? Hold on one second. What would happen? Hold on. I'm looking for this certain article. Big Ten. I just okay. Maybe I'm missing the article, but I thought I saw it. Okay. Art Vandalay, if I can find the article again. On the other side of the board. It could be some good. Yes, Art Vandalay, I totally agree with you. Actually, I'm gonna try to find that the article. I just saw it not very long ago, if I can, about the update on the oil and the gold price. I'll get back to you on that. But here we go. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Gio, welcome, welcome. Mikhail, welcome. Jen, well, okay, now we were back at FedEx. Yes. Okay, bum, bum, bum. Yeah, so FedEx is actually going to train 400,000 of the workers in how to use their AI. Again, how is AI changing your life? Well, it could be changing it a lot. So here we go. Let's go back here to FedEx. Bum, bum, bum. Fed here. Okay, here is almighty FedEx right here. See. Yes, on the other side, there's always some kind of opportunities. And again, I think generally once it stabilizes, again, oil prices will come back down, the dollar will lose its strength again, and gold will go back up. But maybe not. Let's see. But think about it that way. What would you think about that? If now that the dollar is stronger because of oil, and then if oil becomes, if the oil price drops, maybe the dollar value would drop too, and it would send gold up. Let me know what you think. Wayne McCarthy, greetings and hello, hello, Geo. Okay, this is FedEx, and right now, as you can see, FedEx RSI is super neutral at 53, and you can see them right here in the price chart. Dun, 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 right here. Yeah, they are consolidating right here. Bang. Yeah, right here. You can kind of see right there the invisible ceiling, the invisible floor, consolidation, as you can see basically right about here in there. Barefoot. I love the humor. Would you? Your subtle humor is very much appreciated. No stress, man. But yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. Would you prefer to? Let's see. Did I miss a comment? Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Going back over here again, if you look at FedEx, they have a nice Nice price chart right here going up. And again, FedEx is one of those ones that, let's see. Um, yeah. Oh, here's a little update. In recent FedEx plant closures and layoffs in places from Kansas to France, rival UPS recently announced also 30,000 layoffs to add to the 48,000 it had conducted in 2025. Yeah. So again, UPS, lots of layoffs due to AI. FedEx, probably the same thing. Looks like here. Um, so that's probably, yeah. Every time they have layoffs, the market enjoys it. I was reading the article about how Meta was gonna. They hadn't even done the layoffs yet, but they had announced that they were gonna cut 1/5 or 20% of their workforce, and already their stock price has gone up 3%. So again, that's uh, that's how layoffs work, and that's how AI works basically. Bum bum bum. Let's go right over here to okay. Here, let me change the timing here a little bit, and yeah, let's get some chart patterns going on here. Oh, for example, here's one that jumps out very quickly and easily. Here's your head. Wait, let me get my brush. Here's your head right here, and left shoulder, and here's your right shoulder neckline. And you can see the head, left, right, and then you can see a small breakout right there. Not a big one, but yes, a small breakout. Bum, bum, bum. There we go. Gio, welcome. Let's see. Here we go. All right. And then right here, again, looking at FedEx, I just showed you the head and shoulders. Here's also the reverse. The same thing. Here's your reverse head, left shoulder right there. And then here, bang, it breaks out, goes up. So there's your reverse head and shoulders right there. Greetings, greetings. Lucas, hello, hello, welcome. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Again, spread this out, change the time pattern, you'll see different patterns show up. Again, sometimes it takes a very creative eye. Here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Here's the breakout, dun, dun, dun. And you can see right there. Again, it's a small one and it doesn't break out much, but it does break out a little bit. Dun, dun, dun. Martin Marcel, greetings. Risha 4, hello, hello, welcome. Everything US markets, US headlines, and we're breaking down FedEx right now. And right now, as you can see, there's some price action. With the price action, you will see right here, there's trade volume, okay? Trade volume right now is at 863,000. Market cap is at 87.4 billion. Why do yeah, yeah. Verify, why do Dems have money? Money can't even afford it. Yes, yes, yeah. I know what you mean. Allison, greetings. Rose, hello. Uh, okay, and here we go. Back to the earnings on FedEx. Uh, quarterly, Q3, Q2, and Q1 all beat expectations. Let's see. Maggots can't afford to vote Republican. Got it. User Rose, thank you for the likes. Hello, hello, everyone. Greetings. I appreciate that. I'm not the algorithm specialist, but I've heard that the likes and the shares and the follow are good for the channel. So thank you very much. Now there's the annual side, the FedEx for annual earnings right there to 2024 and 2023 and 2022. Yes. So you can summarize by saying last 3 years FedEx for its annual earnings beat all the Wall Street expectations right there. Now, how does that compare? For example, right here, Crystal, hello, hello. Let's go to the earnings and revenue and income. So, okay, look at FedEx. Even though FedEx had they beat all their earnings last 3 years, for their revenue, earnings, and income, especially in 2022, again, negative revenue, negative profit, negative income in 2022. Only thing that was good in 2022 was the net income and pre-tax income. Also, 2023, negative revenue, negative gross profit, but they did have positive income and positive net income. So again, that's why I say just because they have a good earnings report doesn't mean they're going to have profit or revenue. In 2024, however, the revenue and gross profit were good, but the income then was negative. Okay, Wayne McCarthy, hello, Geo greetings. And right here, dun, 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 that's FedEx. Now going on from FedEx, oh, the other, yeah, this is one thing that might be interesting. For example, there's FedEx now. For example, Berkshire Hathaway, Mr. Warren Buffett himself. Yeah, Mr. Warren Buffett bought 8 million shares of this oil giant in Q4 of 2025. Let's see, I have it right here in my notes. And so it purchased 8 million shares of Chevron in Q4 of 2025. And that bet is now looking pretty intelligent, pretty prescient, like he knew about it before it was coming or something. So total shares now that they have for Chevron at Berkshire are 130 million. So now Chevron makes up 7.2% of Berkshire's entire portfolio. And so now Chevron is one of the top 5 holdings in the portfolio, okay? And at the same time, Berkshire also holds a large stake in Occidental Petroleum. Now, again, also here's the other headline that might be interesting. Georgia, greetings and welcome. And Crystal Ward, welcome as well. Berkshire Hathaway also just purchased 1.8 billion in Tokyo Marine. I just saw that. So again, Berkshire Hathaway proving the Chevron bet is good. And I thought we'd take a look at that one. Berkshire Hathaway, why not? Here is Berkshire Hathaway right here. And hold on. Yeah. Okay. So here's Berkshire Hathaway. Let me adjust the timing on this a little bit. Right. And then right here. Okay. So Berkshire Hathaway, we're looking at this because they just made a good bet with Chevron. Flaco, Georgia, hello, greetings. Crystal Ward, hello. Let's go down here. So right here, you're at 40.41 on the RSI, pretty neutral. And so you'll also see the same thing on the price chart. It's very, very neutral. And then if we zoom out and change the time, you can see, for example, some different chart patterns will emerge right here. For example, here's your double top right here, double top. When they both go up to the same exact place, they point out that's the double top. And then right here, for example, you'll see here's your reverse head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Again, here's your neckline. But again, it doesn't break out and go up. So again, a lot of times chart patterns emerge, but they don't actually break out. This one, here's your reverse head, left shoulder, right shoulder. You can see there's kind of a diagonal neckline. This one does break out a little bit, but again, not much. Some charts have more head and shoulders. Some charts have more double bottoms. It always just depends. And let's see. Oh, and you spread this out. You change. If you zoom in, zoom out, you'll see them differently. For example, here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and there's your neckline. And this one does break out a little bit right there. You can see that. Bang! It breaks the neckline right there. It breaks the neckline right there. And then right over here, right here. Yes, for example, right here. Here's your double bottom, and then here is your neckline. So here's your double bottom right there. It comes down, bottoms out, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It goes right back up, and right there, that little point right there where I put my green crayon, that's your neckline, okay? And let's see, right here. Yeah, here's a good one actually. Here's your left shoulder, here's your right shoulder, here's your reverse head, here's your neckline, and bang, this one does break out. Again, sometimes they break out, sometimes they don't, but this one does right there. And this one actually, it's interesting because sometimes you have the double top and then you have the double bottom and they reverse each other. But in this case, you have the head and shoulders. Here's your head, here's your left shoulder, here's your right shoulder, and then there's the neckline. So the head and shoulders brings it down, and then the reverse head and shoulders brings it right back up. Tasha, hello, hello, welcome, greetings. Everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines. We're talking about Berkshire Hathaway at the moment, breaking it down on TradingView. If you have a ticker of your own that you want to see, let me know. Again, here's your reverse, here's your double bottom, and the double bottom actually does break out right there and send the chart pattern up. And if you zoom out, zoom in, you'll see actually other chart patterns emerge. Bum, 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 right there. This looks like a head and shoulders. This is a big head and shoulders right here. Here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and there's your neckline. So again, zoom in, zoom out, you'll be able to see them differently. And there you go. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. If you have any questions or comments, always be free to send me a message if you want. Dun, dun, dun. You can always contact me, send me a message if you have a question about any chart patterns or any of the indicators or anything that I'm talking about. Feel free to do that. Yeah, that's what that's for. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so there's that. Now we have yeah, there is less trading right now because there's less trading, less price action. So here again, less trading volume. So right here, the volume is sitting here at 1.09 million and market cap is at 1.04 trillion. Okay, there's that. And then right here, dun, 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 quarterly. Okay, again, we're looking at Berkshire Hathaway, their quarterly earnings, and let's see how they did compared to the market expectations, Wall Street expectations. So Q4, as you see the blue part is actually lower than what the Wall Street expected. And Q3 and Q2, however, so Q2 and Q3 actually beat market expectations, but Q1 or Q4, I'm sorry, Q4 missed it. So what does that do for the year? Well, 2025 actually missed the annual earnings expectations. 2024, however, beat it. 2023 missed it. So did 2022. So to summarize, for the last 1, 2, 3, 4 years, Berkshire Hathaway has missed Wall Street expectations for earnings all the last 4 years except for 2024. Rem Thapa, greetings and hello. For everyone who's joining, welcome to the channel where we talk about everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines, and then we break it down on TradingView. If you have a question, a comment, or a ticker, feel free to let me know, or you can just send me a message, and if you have a question on anything, I'd be glad to answer it there. Here's your dun, dun, dun. Again, Berkshire Hathaway. Let's look at the revenues, the profits, the income. 2025 was not so good. Operating income and pre-tax income were both negative, and net income was also negative. In 2025, however, they had good revenue and good profit. 2023 and 2024 were better. 2024, good revenue, good profit, good income, but the pre-tax income and the net income were both negative. 2023, however, looking at that, much better. Revenue, gross profit, income, and net income were all positive all the way down. So again, that's why I say right here, 2023, even though it missed earnings expectations, it was good for net revenue and net profit. Use Baza, Rob, hello, greetings and welcome. Again, 2024 and 2025, again, not nearly as good with the income. Yeah. Now that's Berkshire Hathaway. We can also go, this is one that might be interesting as well. For example, this is a Solar Edge. Why are we looking at Solar Edge? For example, Solar Edge is a global leader in smart energy technology, works with commercial, residential, and utility scale solar installations. Yeah, so they're, for example, some of their advantages are their panel level optimization. They boost system efficiency, and they're suitable for rooftops, and it allows for uneven string lengths. Now, why are we talking about this? Because Solar Edge shares surged by over 13% on Friday, 2026, reaching a 52-week high, driven primarily because of an analyst upgrade and rising geopolitical tensions in the Middle East. So it's been part of a broader momentum recovery in the solar sector, also fueled by expectations in Europe, because Europe has an energy crisis, and that's part of the catalyst. The rising conflict in the Middle East has caused European natural gas prices to surge over 90% since the conflict began, which is expected to trigger a demand spike for solar and storage products in Europe as well. So that's part of it. So let's dive into this. Solar Edge right here. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go here to Solar Edge. Dun, dun, dun. Here is Solar Edge. Geo, welcome, welcome, Crystal. Dun, dun. Now let's change the timing on this, bring the trade volume down. Okay, here's that right here. And okay, one thing to notice here is the jump up that you noticed on Friday, and then also you see how the RSI follows along right there, and then the RSI does correct right there. It comes down a little bit, and right here the RSI is now sitting at 62. It did jump over 70 a little bit, and now it's market corrected. You see how it market corrected and it's come back down a little bit. Again, notice the RSI, notice the price chart. You'll see the correlations. Also, put it right here. Let's look right into some of these chart patterns. Let me change this a little bit. You can see different chart patterns will show up at different times. And for example, right here, if we spread this out, again, here's basically your head and shoulders, but it doesn't break out very much. Okay, again, they don't always break out much. Joseph, greetings. Putty, welcome, welcome. And dun dun dun. Yes, here we go. Here's another one. You can see right here how you have the head and the left shoulder and the right shoulder. Here's your neckline. But again, this is supposed to break out and go down. This is just a pattern that doesn't break out, right? And you'll have more and more of those depending on the chart. So again, here's a double top for you. This one does what it's supposed to, double top, and bang, it comes down. You can see that. And then right here, where is it? Bring this down a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, so that's Solar Edge. Again, a little bit more of a description about them because they're not like a super famous one like NVIDIA or Microsoft, but they engage in the development of energy technology, which provides the inverter solutions and solar design, development, etc. And especially with what's going on right now, they're in more and more and more demand. Let's go back over here. Right here. Okay, now here we go. Again, change your timing a bit, and you'll be able to see different patterns emerge. And right here, let's go over here to the earnings side of it. Right now, the volume is at 2 million, and market cap is at 2.8 billion. Well, let's see, what do the earnings say about this company? Earnings quarterly, for example, the last, even though the earnings are negative, okay, the earnings are negative right here, but you'll see that it's less negative than was predicted for the so even though it's negative, it's still a positive report. So, and go here to annually the same thing. 2025, it was negative, but less negative than it was supposed to be, so it's a positive earnings report. 2024, however, was different. It was more negative than expected, so 2024 was very bad for earnings. 2023, however, had positive earnings and it beat expectations. So 2023 looks like it might be the better one, right? Let's check it out. Okay, so 2020, let's like go here to revenue, profits, and income. So 2023, yeah, this is interesting. Look at 2023. It's all negative all the way down. So despite a good earnings report in 2023, having positive earnings and beating the expectations, despite that, if we go here to 2023, the revenue, the profit, earnings, it's all negative. Okay. In fact, it's interesting. 2025, that's when your revenue, profit, income was all positive, and right over here, 2025, actually, the income was negative, but it was less negative than it was expected to be. So again, it's a positive report, but it's interesting how all this stuff correlates or may not correlate with each other. So when you're looking at this, always analyze and look at all the different pieces of information. There you go. So that's Solar Edge. Now, another one I wanted to take you through is Planet Labs. What is Planet Labs? Well, it's a San Francisco-based public benefit corporation that operates the largest Earth observation satellite constellation in history. Okay, founded in 2010 by ex-NASA scientists, they image the entire Earth's landmass daily to provide high-frequency satellite data, analytics, and actionable insights. Industries like agriculture, defense, and government. Okay, and so their mission is to image the world every day, making global changes visible, accessible, and actionable. They provide daily imagery and data analytics to track changes in agriculture, infrastructure, and environment. And what happened with them? On Friday, their stocks just jumped up over 25% following a good earnings report. And the rally was driven by a better than expected revenue. Okay. So let's take a look at them right there. Planet Labs. Okay. Planet Labs right here. Planet Labs right here. There we go. Yeah. Here we are. Yes. Okay. So here's Planet Labs, and you can see right here. Bang. This was from Friday. It jumped up, and you can see right here the RSI did the same thing. Now, for those of you who are curious and have questions, and would like more information about any of the indicators, any of the chart patterns or earnings and revenues, etc. If you have any questions about that, feel free to send me a message. Glad to give it back to you. Just when you message me, be specific about what you're looking for, or if you're not sure, you just want more information about something, that's fine too. But there you go. I'll be here the same time tomorrow. If you have questions or you want to go over a company tomorrow, look forward to it. So see you in the next live stream.